So now we are going to frost the red velvet cupcake. So these are the baked and cooled red velvet cupcakes ready, and that's the cream cheese frosting that's ready too. And here in the red velvet cupcake, there is going to be a surprise element, which is adding ganache into the red velvet cupcake. Now we've added a tinge of cocoa powder in the red velvet cupcake making, right? So that a little bit of chocolate flavor is a really nice thing in a red velvet. It is just not a plain vanilla cupcake that is in the color of red. That little tinge of chocolate is nice. To even increase that experience of having that chocolate, I am going to add a filling of the chocolate ganache. But as a version, you could have a plain vanilla cupcake into which there is only going to be cream cheese frosting, and your higher level of red velvet cupcake, which is the premium range, will be the filled ones into which you can fill the chocolate ganache like how I'm going to do now, and then on the top you would frost it with the cream cheese frosting. Okay, so I'm just going to pour the cupcake. I'm using a nozzle. I'm going to go into the center, press it well, and then take it out. So this is going to create a cavity into which the filling could go in, and into this insert a toothpick and get this out. You could just leave it aside to be used for sprinkles on the top. I'm just going to pour two. Okay, so the cavity is here, and get the excess out and store it out. Now that is the chocolate ganache. I'm just going to chop it out and add it in the cavity. So the ganache goes in and hides itself secretly, while the top is going to be cream cheese frosting. Okay, so it's nicely added in the filling. So those are filled cupcakes. I'm going to frost, make rosettes. And this also start in the center. So finish frosting like that. And now if you have cored the cupcakes, like if you have the extras like that, then you will just get the crumbs out and use that to sprinkle the top. If you don't have, you could use an extra cupcake just for making the crumbs. So it looks really good if the red velvet cupcakes are sprinkled on top with the red velvet cake crumbs itself. So we just crumble it up into fine crumbs is really nice. Okay, and then use this to sprinkle the top. Okay, so the red velvet cupcakes are now frosted and these are ready to be served or packed and sent. Now, if you're going to make it ahead of time, keeping it in the fridge is fine for a few hours, because if you think the frosting is going to loosen up or you have trouble keeping it in the room temperature, or maybe the power is not there and then there's no AC running, you still have some 4-5 hours left to ship them or transport them, then you can leave them in the refrigerator and it's going to be nice, but it has to come out and need to thaw. But you cannot eat them directly from the fridge as it is very cold, because if it is butter based, it is going to be really very hard directly from the fridge. So you allow it to thaw and make sure it is at least in the room temperature for a minimum of 2 hours before the client would be able to eat it. Or even if you're going to eat it for yourself, make sure if you refrigerate, there's no necessity that you need to refrigerate. Just in case that you're making them way ahead of time, then you could refrigerate. In that case, then you need to eat it or serve it minimum of 2 hours and then it is ready to go. Now with this, we've come to the end of the red velvet cupcake lesson.